Desperate single dad. In the early days of man, created in a lab. Science. A pack of wild dogs to aid us in our fight. Attack the mayor now!
We'll defy racial wars. Plus the greatest project out.
A sacrifice to something planet must be made to save our phones. I'll fight that bitch in court for custody of my son.
He's 23.
Something planet, you're my golden boy. What have we done? What have we done? I murdered my only son. SomethingPlanet.com has just begun.
Something Planet was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Something Planet, episode 539. Welcome to it. I'm your host, John Jay, and with me are some very fun guys. I brought in a couple of my favorite visual artists. Please welcome to the show, Yali and Louis. I know your guys' last names, Yali Alan and Luis Rodriguez. I usually call you Louis, but I know you prefer Louis, so that's what I'm doing. I'm respecting your pronouns on the show.
Well, I think everybody calls me, in our friendship group, calls me Louis.
I keep doing it. It's because when Stick introduced you to me, he introduced you as Louis, and so now it's been Louis for the past 20 years about. Yeah. But yeah, I've been friends with both of you guys for a while. My favorite visual artists. Welcome to the show. It's 5:39.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're doing a fun daytime record.
So, Yanni and I are going to have to fight
Yali.
out. Yali. Oh, my God.
Yanni.
Yanni. Sorry.
That's the guy with the flute, right?
Well, now we're
Or
going to
the
have to fight
piano
it
or
out.
something.
We're going to have to fight it out to see who actually becomes your favorite visual
That's what I was
artist.
saying. I was like, he's like, I'm bringing in my other artist friend.
And you're like, fuck that.
You're gonna make us fight? Is that what you're doing?
Well, that's what Yali tends to do is make artists fight, because you are the producer and creator of Sketch Wars.
Correct.
Yeah, and we're not doing that right now.
No, that's on the back burner.
That's gonna be in the summertime again. But I do appreciate Yali got us all, the entire cast and crew of Sketch Wars. He got us all matching jackets.
in the heat of the summer.
Yeah, and then he gave it to us. He gave it to us in August, and then everybody was like, "Are you taking us to Aspen for skiing?" And I was like, "Nope, just the jackets."
I thought you
Just
guys
the
were,
first
were
part.
legit seeing those jackets.
Yeah.
I saw them.
Did you see the jackets?
Yeah, they're impressive.
They're nice, right?
I think they're.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
they're super cool.
Nice
Yeah,
jackets.
Sketch Wars jackets are in fashion. I can't wait to wear it. It is November 14th, and my armpits are currently sweating inside when the AC's on still. So that's where we're at in the state of Florida. It is hot as fuck. We're about to have our fourth hurricane coming up towards the west coast of Florida. We don't know where it's going to hit yet.
Well, it's Hurricane Sarah, and it's coming from like where is it? Like Haiti or something like that? Like under
Cuba
Haiti?
or Haiti. Yeah.
And it's like-
Yucatan Peninsula, the whole.
And it's
that's
not
always the.
it's not moving towards us now, but hurricanes have this tendency to just kind of go like
Yeah, they get
and-
sucked up towards the west coast of Florida.
It gives the opportunity for all the weathermen to say Punta Gorda.
Everybody loves to
They
say
love saying
Punta
Punta
Gorda, and because everybody thinks it like they're saying fat bitch,
yeah.
but really it's Fat Point.
Yeah.
It's Fat Point.
Close enough.
If you're not a Spanish speaker, it may appear that the town is called Fat Bitch.
Damn, that's a good name for a town.
That's
I
a
want to
good-
call my street Fat Bitch Street.
Fat Bitch.
Wait, no, never mind.
I wonder how many times the N is covered up on their names, where somebody just sprays over the N.
Yeah,
So it's
just
Punta Gorda.
yeah. So you could just put a piece of green tape on the road sign, and then you welcome to Fat Bitch, everybody. Everybody wants to be at
I mean, there's
Fat
a
Bitch.
place in Pennsylvania called Short Pump.
Sure, yeah. There's a place called Dick, or there's Butts,
Yeah.
Montana, or something like that.
I think that's Butte.
Is it Buttes?
Yeah,
I
but if you're
prefer
a kid,
butts.
you're going to be calling it butts.
I prefer butts. I'm a kid at heart.
You ever
I see this.
that?
This podcast is going to be very sophisticated. I see
We're
gonna
always
start
very
off-
sophisticated here at the Something Planet podcast. I can't believe you guys are here. I'm excited.
I can't believe that we're here too. I'm losing my mind.
Losing it. We had a great conversation before the show, so hopefully that will not translate onto the podcast. No, I'm glad you guys are here. Shout out to Eric Harlow. We were talking about him before
Oh
the
yeah,
show.
we all know Eric Harlow.
That's what did you say? It was a 2 degrees of separation of Eric Harlow?
Yeah, the 2 degrees of Eric Harlow.
Yeah.
We're all related to him somehow, or we all know him.
Well, he's our dad for one. He's a bunch of our dads. He's a 67-year-old man. He appears to be 43.
He's the Johnny Appleseed of the local.
He's
art
Johnny.
scene.
He's where the
he picks us up, plucks us out, and then lays us down.
yeah.
Gives us art
He's
shows.
played both of your art shows. So you guys are both painters, and you have art shows, and
And
you've had Eric Harlow play there.
And he played my wedding too.
He played your wedding.
Yeah,
Okay.
he played a couple. He actually played like 3 of my art shows, and he played my wedding.
He was supposed to play my wedding, but him and Stick broke up, and then so I had to
Oh.
choose. I had to choose sides in the divorce, and I ended up with Stick Martin.
He got custody of you basically.
yeah. Stick
I
got
get-
custody.
They have visitation. I see both. of
Yeah,
them.
I see both of them
Equally,
every-
but they're both non-existent dads. I see them once every 6 months.
yeah,
now.
they are kind of like deadbeat dads.
Deadbeat dads. Yeah.
So you guys are both painters. That's kind of the topic that I wanted to get into. Having you guys both over here is, I'm a stand-up comedian, so obviously I'm pretty good at expressing myself. But I feel like you guys, as visual artists, are like on a different level when it comes to self-expression. I mean, obviously not right now because you didn't jump
Well,
right in
no,
on the
well-
topic. But I mean, where do you think that comes from? Do you think that painting just makes you like better able to express yourself, or do you think it's the other way around? Do you think it's just like
I think we're worse able to express ourselves.
yeah. Well, I mean, in what way?
You want to go first? You want to take the?
They're both like, no, I don't want to talk right
Well,
now.
no, I mean,
I don't think we're worse. I think I'm pretty good at expressing myself. So you go first.
well, if I was good at expressing myself, I would just say what I needed to say. Like, so when I do a piece of artwork, it's almost like therapy for myself.
Okay, so that's like getting it out. That's the
Yeah.
getting it out part. It's that when you're painting, that's like busting a nut, right?
But if I was good at expressing myself, people wouldn't come up to me and go, "What the hell does that mean?" So
I don't know if it's like busting a nut as much as it's like giving birth or something like that. Or
Okay,
maybe it's
you're
like
gonna be more maternal about it. All right.
yeah, because we, there's like maybe we are maybe.
See what?
Maybe God is the sperm or something like
yeah,
that.
Yali's going to be the more poetic
Okay,
person that describes art, and then I'm going to ruin everything.
that's
That'll be my.
and
that'll
that's
be my
also
thing.
art. That's fine too.
Yeah, I like that, man. We're the yin yang of this moment.
Because when I do stand up, I feel like it's more like I'm taking a dump than giving birth. I think like I'm getting the poison out, basically.
No,
I
that's
could,
a
I
good
could hear,
point,
I
yeah.
could see that too. I mean, I guess it's
We'll
whatever
just
it
crib
needs
what
to
he's
be,
saying
right?
and copy what he's saying.
Yeah, we take dumps as well. We also take.
That's
dumps.
my whole collection of art. Is all
Yeah.
just crap.
I mean, I've been to your art show. I've seen some of the prices on that artwork, and then I later found out that you just put those prices on the artwork because you don't want people to buy them.
But sadly, I've sold pieces, and then I miss them.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Fuck! I should have charged more."
Yeah, that is true.
I'm I don't know. I'm struggling with like either undervaluing myself or overvaluing myself. But I guess it's so subjective because when somebody
Right.
comes to the show, you don't know if they're coming with like they're art collectors and they got some, they got a budget and they want something.
Right.
Or if they're like, just like a friend of yours who wants to support you and then you don't want to charge them like $2,000 for, a piece or whatever. And,
Well, it-
So price could be subjective, I think.
Yeah,
no,
as
value-
well as like art is subjective. So I think the price on art should also be subjective.
Yeah,
It's
value
like-
is an abstract concept. You could tape a banana to a wall and sell it for hundreds of
and
thousands of
someone
dollars.
did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all about like the story and who your audience is or where you got it set up. And I'm still trying to navigate that whole world.
Right.
But in the meantime, instead of like figuring out how to how to price the things, am I yelling?
no, you're good.
I'm turning it up.
You're good.
Okay. Instead of figuring out how to like market myself and price things and like do the business of being an artist, I just spend my time getting really stoned at 3 a.m. and putting paint on a canvas, being like, "This is the best thing."
This is the best fucking thing ever. I mean,
No, but
that's
he
that's
does
good,
have
though.
a good point, though, in the sense that why the hell we now have to be businessmen? And get
right.
into
Nobody
this
wants
whole
that.
fucking thing about business. Are we allowed to curse? I'm sorry.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
But the big thing for me is also thinking about how many hours did I put into this thing. Like, even when some of my paintings are shockingly about $10,000.
Right.
When we actually think about the time that I put into it, I'm still making maybe $5 or $6 an hour. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
that's
Yeah, I
still
mean,
minimum
like
wage.
it's
Well,
$10,000. It's
minimum wage.
$10,000, but I'm still not making minimum wage.
Right. So, and then let's say I do.
I mean,
have a-
I say the same
yeah,
thing with
I mean,
comedy as well. It's like you're not paying me to be there for an hour. You're paying me for the 15 years I've spent developing an act and developing skills to be on stage and be entertaining and all of that shit.
You're paying for my horrible lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, I need drugs, okay? Like,
Exactly.
like you have to pay for the drugs.
This is subscription based,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
You're paying for therapy. They're paying for your therapy.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those comics. I actually go to therapy. I'm
Man,
not one of those comics like this is therapy for me. Like, no, this is work. I go to therapy and I enjoy it quite a bit most of the time. Sometimes it's terrible.
I had this thought a while ago, back when like I don't know if we missed the golden age of stand-up comedy or something, or maybe we hit a top wave back in.
We
like,
hit a top wave, I would say, 10 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
I would guess.
Maybe like when Louis C.K. and Jim Gaffigan were doing a big thing.
Right,
whatever.
right. That was.
Well, vaudeville's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then Louis C.K. ended up being
I think
a
it'll
real
come
jack-off.
back. I think it'll come back.
No,
but I
it-
mean,
it-
yeah, we're definitely on the downturn of the top of the wave. Yeah, we're on the other side of the big wave.
It
this
comes
point.
it comes up and down, I guess, as like as new comics kind of pop up and down. But I feel like a good stand-up comedian, at the peak of it, was more like a fucking preacher or like a prophet. You had like Bill Hicks and you had George Carlin. And you even had like Eddie Murphy just teaching people what they're doing wrong in relationships. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Well,
like fighting racism and opening up your eyes to spirituality and all that kind of stuff. And it felt like it was.
And and now it's like, hey, you're gay.
Yeah, right.
For better or for worse, though, it's been democratized because if you can
Yeah.
look back at like Johnny Carson, he was the kingmaker, and we don't have that anymore. So it is more diffuse. So there's now, instead of your top 5 comics, you have thousands of comics with all disparate viewpoints,
Right.
and a race to the bottom. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the big problem in my chosen art form right now it's the race to the bottom. It's like, can I say something really bad so that people will notice me? And that's what it's
Right.
gotten to.
I mean,
Cancel.
aren't we all just a little jealous of the Haktua girl?
I would
mean,
say so.
yeah,
Yeah, I
just
would
a
say a
little bit.
little bit, but I mean, I'm kind of rooting for her, to be honest. I'm of course I'm a little bit jealous. Her podcast, whatever that may be, is more popular than mine, so I am jealous of that. But at the same time, I'm like, that's fucking badass. You were just being some silly dumb bitch when you're out drunk with your friends, and that has changed your life for the better. She was working in like a meat packing facility before that or something.
Well, I mean, I'm still working in a meat packing facility, delivering pizzas. So
Just
I mean,
spitting
I'm
on
licking my
dicks on a
wounds
conveyor
here.
line as
Yeah,
they
I
go
mean,
along.
No, but
Yeah.
one of the big things, speaking to that in the business, like, so you're a stand-up comic, he and I are artists, but he and I can spend, I don't know how long you take on a piece, but, sometimes it takes me 3
Infinity.
or 4 months. Yeah,
Infinity time,
Yeah,
yeah.
forever. And we post something on whatever social media that we're really proud of, and we have our mom, you, Harlow, and maybe 5 other friends like this thing.
Right.
And then if you're, for lack of a better term, some hot, halfway decent looking girl that posts their toes in the sand, and suddenly, you're getting your own show, and you're like, wow, well, man, I'm putting a lot of effort in for nothing.
That's I get it. How do you agree with that? Do you feel that way sometimes?
I mean, I know that everybody has like pretty girls definitely have a leg up, but I guess you could say the same for
In our case, they have 2 legs up because they're so much taller than us. So.
I think that even hunky dudes could have the similar leg up. Just if you sell it, the point is that sex sells, and so if you're sexy, it'll
Sex and
sell.
stupidity sell.
That's what I mean.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like stupidity. I feel like stupid people buy stupidity. I don't. I actually. I didn't. I
agree.
didn't compose my thoughts about this. Right.
I agree.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have a plan for this show at all. If you can't fucking tell, and I like where it's going.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, sex sells. I'm not mad about it. If that's your product, then fucking I hope you make $1 billion. But that's not my product, and so I'm
Right.
pandering to a different market, I guess. And maybe we're like on the outside, a girl who's selling herself being sexy and her art seems like she's selling, like we're in the same field, but in a sense,
One of
she-
the listeners, I don't want to shout it out to be rude or whatever, but his wife is a very good painter, and she's also happens to be attractive. So, but I don't think she likes that aspect of it. Like,
No,
there's
for
like
sure. You
dudes
wanna
like
be
sliding
right.
in her DMs
Absolutely right.
when she's trying to like show paintings on Instagram or whatever, and there's dudes like like, hey, do you have any nudes? Like,
right. Man, I don't know. I feel like it's like one of those things that, like, if you sell your art through the avenue of being sexy, it's probably, I mean, the money's probably fun, but it's probably unsatisfying when you're successful and you're like, oh,
this is
a
what
pa-
us losers tell
a
ourselves.
part of you.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's unsatisfying.
No,
to be financially successful
And attractive.
Yeah, fuck those people.
No, I'm just saying,
They should be like us, short garden gnomes, sitting alone in our houses.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you succeed as a painter because your paintings are great, it's probably more satisfying to your painter self than I succeeded as a painter because I'm hot. That
right.
being
I
said,
think that's going to
you can
tickle.
be-
It's going to tickle the ego
it's
in
gonna,
a different way.
It's gonna challenge the ego. It's kind of like a guy who marries a woman and she's like, and he's rich, and she thinks that he married her. She married him because of his money.
In
instead of
reality, it
because
could
his
be because
persona-
he's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it could be like
It could be both.
It could be both.
It could. That's what I'm saying. It's definitely both, but I don't know.
Look, when I go out, I tell people when I meet strangers for the first time and they ask me what I do, I tell them I'm a pizza delivery guy. And then I see them
That's
just
not a lie.
fade away from my presence. Stick even made me. He's like, "Well, you're more than." And I was like, "Yeah, but let's just see where that goes."
Yeah. Let's see.
You know?
Well, you definitely
Just-
get judged.
yeah, for sure.
I definitely get more conversations when I say that I'm a stand-up comedian than I did when I said I was a pool boy. And then people would be like, "Oh, well, you're a pool man." I'm like, "There's no such thing. We're all boys."
As a pool boy, you have to. I would lean into that. Just walk around with a little
Speedo.
Little speedo, wife beater.
Yeah, hang
or
around.
whatever.
I mean,
they
I
call it,
did.
an A shirt.
One of
Yeah.
those, like, pool boy staffs that scoop
I mean,
things
yeah,
from the
that's
pool.
available
it's not, we
to-
don't we don't use that to walk. That's the net things out of the pool, y'all.
The elderest pool boy uses it as a walking stick.
No, but you're available to the nice, lonely old ladies.
Yeah,
just
I mean
leave-
that's
yeah, totally.
that never happened to me as a pool boy. Never got laid because of it. Never even got close. One time I forget what the guy's name was, but it was a pool in like a country club gated community, and I went and I had never there's never been any evidence that anyone had ever lived in this home, and I had no idea who lived there or whatever. And I went back there, and it was a dude. He was I forget what his name is, but he was wide receiver for the New York Jets at the time, and he was there with tattooed, completely naked big titty goth girl, both of them naked, poolside or whatever, and it was definitely not his wife. And I was like, oops, and I left, and then he chased me out, and he was like, hey, really sorry about that. We didn't know what day you guys came. You don't have to clean it this week. And then he just palmed me $100 bill, and I was like, all right, that's for me keeping my fucking mouth shut.
That's for me
And
having
now
a
look,
good time.
you've given
Well,
us
I mean,
a-
I forgot his name.
We're close to doxing him now at this point.
I totally forgot his name, and if anybody wants to be an internet sleuth, they could figure out a New York Jets
Well-
wide receiver that lived in Pinellas County part-time.
All the wide receivers' wives right now are rolling around angry. You're going to cause a spike in divorce.
And I could have been lying about his position just to throw you guys off. But what the fuck were we talking about?
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
I have
we
a
were talking
question.
about art.
I do have a question for
One-
Yali.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Okay, so how do you deal with people that see your artwork and then ask you to do something completely outside of your wheelhouse?
I mean, yeah, you're both. Well, Yali, you're more of an artist for hire than Lewis is, right?
Yeah, I got bills to pay. So I mean, I definitely carve out time to do the stuff that I love the most. You know, things that come from my heart or whatever. But if you want a fucking logo painted on the side of your house, I will fucking do that. Just because it's good money, I'm good at it.
You are good at it. You're a very good muralist.
Thanks, man.
You know, the painting is that your number one? Is like canvas?
Painting canvas, I guess. Yeah, that's my favorite.
But you do sketch quite a bit, and you do murals quite a bit as well.
True. Yeah, man, honestly, depending on how busy I am throughout the year, or like at that time of the year, I'll take on all sorts of odd jobs. And it just beats, like, I don't know. It's just, this is an economic ecosystem. I'm not going to bitch about painting something that is not my favorite thing in the world to paint.
Right.
I just want to make some money. And then that money ends up funding my life, which powers the art that I love. So
I feel like for me, it's
Lewis is like, fuck that. I'll deliver pizzas.
it's a qualitative issue for me.
Yeah,
because
it is.
I agree with him in some contexts, but I think I would hate to be like Milne, where he wrote all these books, but now he's famous for the thing he hates the most,
And what is that?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie. Okay.
Yeah, so he hated that.
Hated
guy.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, but that's what he became famous for.
I don't really like Winnie the Pooh either, to be quite honest.
So you and he are on the same page.
Yeah, like I feel like
But-
I'm one of the only. Even as a little kid, I was like, "This is kind of fucking stupid."
But
But I'm very rare in that sense.
So to his point, so the other thing I do is kayaking and paddleboarding tours.
Okay.
And then add to that I've been, since post-hurricane, I've been doing a lot of handyman work.
Right.
And so that takes artistic elements, but I'm not utilizing, I guess you could say, my higher function skills.
True.
And I get paid a hell of a lot more to do a lot less.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, I probably don't have the skill set that Yali does either. As in, if you ask both of us to paint a duck or draw a duck, he could probably bang it out in a couple of minutes. This is no offense.
I'll bang a duck.
Yeah,
I'll
And-
fucking-
You
and,
pay me enough money, I'll bang your ducks.
where it might take me hours just to ruminate the essence of this stupid duck and then come out with something that might even be inferior to his duck. so
I
it is
kind
a
of. I feel the way. I feel that way with like stand up as well. Like I can do any show, but do I want to?
you want to be at the Friars roast.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I just got to the point where I can't do every single $100 bar show
Right.
that is
Right.
offered to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, for
Well,
sure.
also on another side note, I think Yali is a nicer person than I am. Like if
True,
had to-
I can agree with
yeah,
that.
if I had to
Yeah.
describe myself, I'm
You seem like a super nice guy.
You are, but
I have a misanthropic, kind of side too.
Gotcha.
Okay, if you put us in a room
he's
with other artists and they start talking about crystals,
I would say
spirituality.
you're an old school gentleman that gives respect when shown respect. That's what I would say. You're not nice. You
Right.
give respect when
Maybe,
shown
right.
respect.
He's a 1950s muscle guy on one
Yeah.
of those big wheel bikes.
He has one of
okay.
those. I saw he rides it past the house all the time.
but
He has to get into my tree to get onto it. Yeah.
no, but I think when I say he's nicer, he's more amenable to these type of conversations.
True.
There's times where I've walked in and people are like, "That guy has a dark aura," and they're upset by. some
You're
of
like,
the
"I'm
things
just
I say."
tan,
I've never
homie.
once
I just
said that about you or anyone. To
It's
be
just
quite
a,
honest.
It's just a melanin response.
Say
It's-
that.
yeah. I think you're just talking about systemic racism.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's got a
like
dark
this
aura.
guy has a dark aura. No, it's like this guy's Puerto Rican. Yikes.
Well, coming from a floating island of garbage, I'm
Yeah.
considered one of the good ones.
Man, what a fucked up joke. I mean, I've heard
I don't.
people
I'm not
defend-
mad. I'm not mad at the joke for being offensive. I'm mad at it for being completely unfunny. Like,
What?
good God.
I just think that like that kind of joke could never like in the ecosystem of the Democratic Party, you could never say something like that.
Right.
Because everyone would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But it thrives in the MAGA ecosystem. Like, "Oh, we've been waiting for this," and all the
I knew
fucking
this was-
racisms are jacking off in the corner. Fuck Puerto Ricans. And that's what I don't like about it. I don't like that it fuels the
I knew
fire.
this was going to get to politics
No,
at some point,
I
so
do-
this is fine.
There's a
It's a good transition.
Oh, yeah.
There's a good finer point to make though when you said this is the way I think MAGA would approach that you're not allowed to say something like that in the Democratic
It's a
side.
culture of
Right,
it's a culture of grievance. So in most cases, that grievance needs to be created.
Well, sure, but I'm saying like to his point where through their lens,
Right,
they're not allowed
They're defending.
to say that.
They're defending
Right.
freedom of speech.
Correct.
Right.
No,
And through their lens.
I
Through
get.
their lens,
I
yeah.
definitely get that. I get that argument to it, but I also feel like a
Their freedom
political.
of speech always orients to some type of aggrieved fascism.
Right,
Right, yeah.
Or like I think that a political rally is maybe not the place for defending that freedom of speech, or also maybe like own the fact that a large part of your voting base is racist, and so when you say racist jokes that you
Right,
don't
it's-
mean to a racist crowd, then fucking yeah, I don't know. I just feel like
I mean,
it's
that's
so
kinda-
irresponsible. It's such like
No,
a fucking.
I think.
All right, so I have
no,
a
I
question.
totally agree with that, and that actually reminds me of what Dave Chappelle said when he just kind of quit and left his show or whatever, because he felt that people were laughing for the wrong reasons. It was like, oh, I don't want to make racist teenagers laugh, so I quit. And that's where it comes. Like,
I mean, that's the
he
problem
has the
with,
he has the
Taxi
blind.
Driver, the movie Taxi Driver,
Right, and Joker,
yeah, like,
and Fight Club is another one. It's like,
yeah,
like
they missed the point.
you miss the point, and you're playing to what the creator was kind of making
Kind of
fun of
mocking,
in the
right.
mocking in the first place. Yeah,
I feel like though,
like Tyler Durden isn't a hero,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the point of the book.
yeah, right.
somebody told me that I reminded them of Tyler Durden, and I was like,
That's
he's
not
the bad
good.
guy.
Yeah, he's
and
the bad guy.
No,
He's-
but they were like saying it as a compliment. I think
he's
and
the ego.
Yeah,
he's the
It's like that dude's a maniac.
he's the toxic masculinity. He's he's why the dude can't get laid.
What he was the version of him getting laid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The other guy didn't really have a name. Tyler Durden had a name. The other guy
Doesn't
maybe
have a
his-
name. No, he's
Right.
the narrator.
All he would say is like, "I am Jack's something something."
Yeah, but he's not Jack.
Yeah, he's not Jack. Right? Yeah, Tyler Durden was the villain. But then again, he was. It was really exciting to read, to like learn about like this anti-establishmental attitude, and to like.
It's an interesting prospect.
And me and my buddies used to have fight clubs after the movie too. We would get together, and our rule was don't punch the face, but we would stand in a circle and fucking brawl. And
No, but that brings a good
it was
point.
fun.
That when I was younger, did you ever see the movie King of Comedy?
What? No, I don't
Robert
think
De
so.
Niro, Rupert Pupkin.
No, I've never seen that.
Joker cribbed a lot of that movie.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
But when I first saw the movie, I think I was like 13 or 14, and I loved that character, and I emulated that character. I thought he was hilarious, and like I was.
That is kind of what always happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and years later, I went, oh, you got to see King of Comedy. It's fucking hilarious. And we're watching it, and then I was horrified. I was like, holy shit, he's a villain and really bad person. And I think if I was younger, I might be one of these young red-pilled conservative kids watching Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I mean, well, how did Joe Rogan go from Fear Factor host to what he is now, who's like an influential voice in politics?
I mean, we have a president that is a complete like.
Right.
It's like Burgermeister
But
Meisterburger in
that-
real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people can't see who the bad guy is. So,
Right.
I mean, yes.
I mean, but we there's no way we get to this this reality TV show guy being elected twice without voices like Joe Rogan.
for sure. And
Right, and Joe Rogan used to. I mean, I used to listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Sure, I did too.
Back
I
in
mean,
the day, and it didn't feel like he was pandering to any kind of
No,
party.
I don't think
he was
so.
just spearheading, like, you know, like a consciousness expansion. Take care of your mind, your body, and your health. There could be
Right.
spirituality out there.
And then one day he had Alex Jones on.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
And then 2 weeks later he had a scam vitamin company.
no, but they.
And then it kind of went in that direction
I-
ever since.
it's
I
the
stopped-
horseshoe effect.
I stopped listening to him for a couple years, and then while I was painting the Blue Jay thing, I was just like, all right, let's listen to some Joe Rogan.
Could have listened to Something Planet.
Yeah, I
You know, we've
should.
actually been around longer.
Really?
Sadly.
That's amazing, man.
Joe Rogan is actually the guy that bumped us out of the top 10 on iTunes.
You were in the top 10?
I was in the top 10 on iTunes in 2008. And then all of a sudden, maybe it was the top 12 they used to have. Maybe it was 10 or 12. And then all of a sudden, I got fucking bumped.
By Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan came in and was like number 3, and then that kicked me out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, who's this schmuck? He's
Man,
not gonna
he
go
never
anywhere.
made it back there
Fear
again.
Factor, give me a break.
So I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he had this scientist on his podcast, and I was like, oh, science. I love science. And it was this lady talking about scientific journals and da-da-da-da-da. And then it segued immediately into fuck the left wing. The right wing are sane. The left wing are insanity. And, like, it just blew my mind how far he had gone from being nonpartisan to all of a sudden he is like straight up fucking Donald Trump, fuck the Democrats, fuck the da-da-da-da-da. And don't get me wrong, like,
I mean,
fucking-
part of that could just be him getting old.
Right.
No,
Is,
I
you,
mean,
think,
well,
you think that being
where's the money
being
at?
conservative is like a byproduct of
well,
living too long?
I don't know, but it always seems like people get old and then all of a sudden, I don't know if that
I think
if
the
that's
world
just
gets liberal around them.
yeah, the
I
world
don't
gets
think they get
liberal
more
around.
conservative.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that like a lot of it. What comedians tell me, and I'm friends with some comedians that feel a little bit more conservative than they used to be, is that they feel like they're being pushed that way because of crazy liberal ideas that don't make any sense to them or whatever. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The culture
Okay.
pushes them aside. Like when I have friends that voted for Harris that
Right.
would still go, I don't understand the whole pronoun thing.
Right.
Like, this just and it's. And
I mean,
when you
I
go
don't
to-
understand. I mean, as far as like the whole trans issue is, I don't understand it either. But I also recognize that I don't need to understand it because it's
Right.
not my business.
But again,
I think that the problem of the Democratic Party is that they've been holding on to the specifics and the details so hard that they started fighting amongst decent people who are like not perfect but like just don't want to accept saying the right pronouns or just fighting over inches when on the other side there's literal like neo-Nazis and corrupt businessmen and fucking Vladimir Putin over there.
Right,
And,
yeah,
like,
trying to
and-
take over other countries and shit. And they're like, what's wrong with
you're-
that?
And you're like, no, you all have to say the right thing. Call me by the correct name. And not that you shouldn't, but
I think you should.
that's not the front lines.
I don't
right
think
now.
so,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
But
the front lines are way.
the-
What's at stake is way juicier than these little inches.
I
or
would agree
shared
with that.
bathrooms and stuff like that. Not that they're not. You piss and poo anywhere you want, homies.
But speaking to the Joe Rogan thing,
Right.
That is literally the boomerang effect, where you start out liberal, but there's like with him, there was a libertarian thread there. I want to do whatever I want to do.
Right, and I get that. I get
Or-
that notion.
Like crunchy moms, for instance, like granola moms that care
Yeah,
about their
homeschool
children.
moms, yeah.
Well, they care about their children's health, and then that orients into chemophobia, fear of vaccines, and then suddenly Trump starts to sound appealing to them. They're not racist. They're not, they don't have like a angry towards the, I guess you'd say the population at large, or have anything to do with gay rights or anything. But that one topic, they're so happy now that fluoride's going to be pulled out of the water that fuck everything else. That's
Right.
their
Right.
big topic. So
Yeah.
And it used to be that freedom of speech was like a thing that left-wing people were all fighting for. We're like, oh, freedom of speech. Let me say what I want. Comedy is freedom. And now it's the right-wing people who are like, freedom of speech.
Well,
Let me say what I want.
different because left-wing people are still fighting for freedom of speech. Right-wing people are fighting for freedom of speech without consequences.
Right.
I think that's a great
and
point.
that's the big
Yeah,
nuance.
I think that's a great point. Is that and like I'm never gonna say that you can't say something. I will say maybe you shouldn't,
Yeah.
or maybe you should have a better fucking attitude, or whatever, or like if I should be able to say whatever I want, but my wife left me and now I'm really
Yeah,
mad
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
That's what you're talking about is without consequences. It's like you can say, hey, fuck everybody that lives in New York City. That's a fucking dirt heap, and everybody from there is a moron. I think you should be allowed to say that, but at the same time, everybody that lives in New York is going to think you're a fucking asshole.
But to your point, though, the Gen Z,
Younger people, people younger than me.
Yeah, the guys are breaking conservative, and the young
Mm-hmm.
women are breaking left. And
That's true.
these
Well,
young
because they
guys
don't
are
want-
just not having sex now. Like as a
Yeah,
result.
I think that's that. Well, I mean, that's a huge issue, and we were talking a little bit about history before the show started, and that's always kind of a precursor to a major world war. Is a
Sexual frustration.
is a population of young men, young unmarried men that can't get laid.
What's his
you
name?
know what?
Gustav Prinsep, the murderer of Franz
Yeah,
Ferdinand.
that's
he's,
that-
He's a red pill incel guy. That they wouldn't have called it that back then.
Who
but
is it?
the assassin of Franz Ferdinand?
The guy who started World
World
War
War
well,
One. Yeah. yeah.
arguably kicked off World War One.
Yeah, he's an incel.
I mean,
for
it
sure.
probably would have happened
Yeah.
anyway, but that's what we.
See, folks, this is what you tune in for. Esoteric conversations about World War One.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Maybe racism's fueled by Pornhub. You know what I mean? Like all the.
I mean,
I just do want
Sure.
to say one story
Go ahead.
about becoming conservative or is it that the culture changes? So I'm from New York, as a matter of fact, and I took one of my friends there. And on the way there, I was bragging about how great the pizza was and how great the bagels are and how good.
It's
and
the water.
Yeah, no, but we get there and it's all shawarma and it's all like. What is it, gyros and stuff? And
There's a lot of good shawarma there. Yeah, the halal guys.
Yeah,
halal guys is good.
But the culture was so different than when I was there that I felt this pang of of anger, and I went, "Oh, you know what? I bet you that's how Trumpers feel." You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like they wake up one day and they're like, "I think my city has like 10 more Puerto Ricans than it used to." I don't know. There's a lot of Puerto Rican music that I don't really like.
I mean, the fact is that there's more Puerto Rican people that live in New York City than live in Puerto Rico. So if you're upset about that, then I guess fucking deal with it.
Or Toronto and Jamaicans. I think
there's a lot of Jamaicans in Toronto. Yeah.
I think that has to do with like cheap airline flights. Like, what's the cheapest airline flight out of Puerto Rico? New York. That's where we're moving.
Just good infrastructure. Yeah. I don't even know what the fuck we were talking. We were talking about racism, but we were talking about
we were talking about how
not getting laid leads to racism
is radicalizing the right wing. People.
I mean, that's one of it. I mean,
that's one of the things for sure. And I mean, I was talking about that with a friend the other day, and it's true that there is like MAGAism is a culture of grievance, and one grievance one grievance is I can't get fucking laid. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's like the most.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
It's the most grievance. You know what I mean? It's like it's all the way in our jujubes that I can't.
Yeah, it hurts deep in our guts.
Hurts deep in our guts, all the way down to the ball sack.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
And I'm going to steel man their position.
Okay.
Let's say I live in a community that's pick a Rust Belt or steel town in Chicago,
Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, good example.
Wow, good one, man.
First one that came to mind. Decaying steel town, Allentown. That's what comes to mind.
Let's say you bought into giving women their rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giving black people more rights. In the 70s, you had women re-entering the workforce in large numbers, black people in the workforce. And you don't see your number rising. I'm not saying like super wealthy billionaire white people, but I'm saying like rank and file white dudes, big pickup truck. I live in in this Rust Belt town.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're still economically disadvantaged, and then you see people my color of skin come in, and they're starting businesses and they're ushered in. I'm just saying from their perspective. So now you have a sociological impact of the culture is changing. If you do bring in people of a different culture, the culture of that town does in fact change. And then you add to that this class of people are doing better economically. Like the immigrants in these narrow contexts that we're talking about, they tend to then have their own jobs. They pool their money together generationally. They have a different concept of what life is like.
Right. They have a different concept of community as well.
Right. And then suddenly there's that perception that they're doing better than you. What about me?
What about me? Yeah.
And they feel left out.
I mean, I can
It doesn't have to be hatred. You know what I'm saying?
I can understand on an intellectual level that being the case. What I can't understand is hatred of minorities because of that. I can
the angriest white guy I know are black veterans.
Really?
Man, that's so progressive of you, dude.
No, I'm saying I was there at one point. I used to have self-loathing against Puerto Ricans because I was disconnected from my culture.
Okay.
So I knew nothing about Puerto Rico except what the popular media told me.
Right.
We're good dancers, which I'm not. We're good singers, which I'm not. And we steal things, which I don't. So I was like, oh,
nothing to be proud of.
Right. And then, I'm by the same token, token. Look at that. See how I slid that word in there? I'm told I'm one of the good ones because I don't do any of these other things.
Right. But as it turns out, when you actually go to said country, it ends up being exactly like everywhere else, where it's just people that have families and want to do well for themselves and not fucking starve to death. You know?
Exactly. And then there's a couple of assholes everywhere, and that's all
Absolutely.
everybody else focuses on. It's just the way progress goes. It's like there's progress, and then there's a fundamentalism backlash, and we go down, and then there's another progress, and then fundamentalism backlash.
Progress gets kicked in the fucking nuts every once in a
Yeah,
while.
it's
feel
like the
like
good
all
old
these-
days keep calling back, but the good old days keep changing because old people die and young people get
This
old.
is such a
and-
missed opportunity for red-pilled incels, too.
Right.
Because if they would just accept the transgender agenda, they would open up their dating opportunities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The field is open now.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Why would
maybe a lot of it's fueled by the self-loathing of closeted gay guys too. They're like, I hate everything that's tempting me in the world,
Right.
or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Well,
I mean, part of it is that. Part of it is that. I mean,
how many times do they get outed?
I mean, Pornhub releases all the time, like how often trans porn is searched in different areas.
Yeah,
Utah
the
and
more-
like red states and stuff. So like, dudes are jerking off to these women.
Yeah, the more oppressive the society, and it's not only in the red states, it's also all around the world in like highly Muslim countries where you're like not allowed to all
Right.
these things are like punishable by death or whatever. Those are the places that have the highest searches of the fucking LGBT porn.
Right.
So
right.
the porn just gets really good.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
the country becomes more
It's got
conservative.
that. It's got
Right.
that.
porn just
That
gets that much
forbidden
better,
fruit
right?
flavor to it.
That's what happens. It's like there's more punk bands and there's better trans porn.
So the music will get better.
And it's always
this is the hope.
It's always the preacher who's like, you gotta kill all the gay people, and then you find him in a hotel room sucking like
Yeah,
8 dicks
yeah.
or something like that.
Well,
You know what's cool though, right? Is that just by being friends with somebody on the LGBTQ spectrum, we're now punk. You know,
Yeah.
we're
you're
we're
punk.
rebels.
You're automatically punk rock if you just accept people.
Right.
Like, hey, I acknowledge that you're a person. Wow. How fucking liberal of you.
Oh my god.
Well, I think this has been kind of enlightening. I mean, I've been upset since the election. I don't think anybody doesn't know that I voted for Kamala Harris. Maybe some people are stupid and don't realize that, but I would never vote for Trump. I think he's a criminal. I think he's a rapist, and I don't think he's going to do a great job with the country. But I'm at the point right now where it's like, okay, well, we fucked around, and now let's see, I guess.
to,
let's
to
see
that
what
point,
happens.
though,
Yeah.
the people that he's picking for his cabinet
Right.
are so hilariously ridiculous.
Right, it's clown
Yeah,
shoes.
yeah, it's like, wow.
I mean, I don't even want to even bring those names up. It's
Yeah,
so fucking clown shoes at this point.
I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I've been paying a little bit of attention, but I'm at the point right now where it's just like, hey, I'm sorry if you get fucked over by this administration, but hey, you wanted to do your protest vote or your protest non-vote or whatever. I'm a 40-year-old white guy. I'm fucking fine, okay?
Well,
like I'm a 40-year-old straight white man who owns property.
Let's
So
trade
I'm
places.
fucking good, okay?
Let the good times roll.
Yeah, Trump's America, baby. I'm rich.
I do have things on the horizon though that I'm working on.
What are you working on?
Underground stuff. So
Shout out to
I'm
Eric
gonna try
Harlow,
to-
by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Eric Harlow.
Shout out to Eric Harlow.
But
He's Eric Harlow for president 2028.
Yeah.
I've been MIA social media wise, but I've been doing other things to help people that are underprivileged. So
Okay. Well, now's a
yeah,
good time to
But-
throw out fucking plugs right now. if you
I was
want to
gonna
plug
say,
anything.
you do have my.
We got your
If
Instagram.
people want to contact me.
If you're listening and not watching, it's at El Cobre Uno, the copper one.
Yeah.
in Spanish. There's some underscores there, but it's at L_Cobre_Uno. And Yali is at Yali Ilan on Instagram. I want to plug right now that my special is out now. It's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it right now. Or you can come to the Dunedin International Film Festival, and it's actually going to be, I'm told, closing out the festival.
It's
great.
I'm going
it's
to kiss your
hilarious
ass for a second.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
I love
You guys liked it, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Right? It was really good, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was awesome.
Don't do it like that. Now his mustache curled a little bit and it
Yeah.
seems so
Oh,
fake.
what a fantastic special he had.
No, it
He sells
legitimately
vitamins.
was
Did
good.
I tell you? He also sells
Yeah,
vitamins.
and check out my vitamin shop. It's all the supplements that you could possibly use to turn your body into a perfect machine. No,
That's
I'm kidding.
where you went wrong. That's why Joe Rogan's popular.
I should have kept doing jujitsu and and sold vitamins. Do you have anything to plug right now? I have a few more things, but you can go ahead.
No, really no. I mean, there's a Dunedin International Film Festival.
That's
You
going to
already
be
plugged that.
January 8th through 12th or something like that. 9th through 12th.
Like I think it's like 9 through 12. Yeah, maybe, but I
think
could be wrong. I
they-
don't
yeah.
remember. Maybe 10 through 12.
Something. It's that weekend.
We
It's
come on a
Thursday,
show,
Friday,
and
Saturday,
then we're
Sunday.
unprepared with all of our.
I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk with my friends, and I gotta bring you in here. I have to, nobody has time to just hang out and talk. So I have to set up this whole studio with cameras and lights and screens just to get you guys to come in
He
here and
doesn't
have a
even
chat with me.
upload any of this. He just
No, this is completely. This is just for me. I'm putting this in a record. This is going to be in a scrapbook, a digital scrapbook. But yeah, Dunedin International Film Festival. Me and Brad are hosting the awards again. It's going to be a great fucking time. Lots of really good movies in this year, and we're gonna do a whole diff podcast once we get closer to that. We're
love that.
We're gonna talk about all the films up for awards. We're gonna get you and Cameron, or Cameron and David, in here, who is he's directing the live stream of the award show. So we're gonna plug all that further down the road. But remember, my special, John J. Murray Rhinoceros, on Amazon Prime, and we are brought to you by the Carry Cart. If you go to carrycart.com, that's Carry Cart with 2 Ks, and use the code SP at checkout, you're going to get $20 off your first Carry Cart. I don't know if you guys know what a Carry Cart is, but it's cool. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Also, random-fandom.com. That's the official T-shirts of Something Planet. And what else do I want to plug? Oh, I want to plug, I got Catherine Maloney and Ricky Hicken coming to downtown Dunedin at Jack Polino's Pizza. Make sure you go to Jack Polino's Pizza and get your tickets for that. You can get them online, or you could just ask your server, or just call them and give them your fucking credit card number to hook you up with the tickets. Moving on. Let's get into a more fun topic. Let's get into I know you're a movie buff.
the war in the Middle East. Let's
Talk about the Middle East. No, let's check out some Massive Media.
It's Something Planet, Massive Media, tonight.
That is our music for Massive Media tonight. I don't know if you guys have your headphones up and could hear that. Yali's headphones are just turned down right now. I don't think he has them turned on at all.
No, yeah, exactly. My mic is turned off too.
Yeah, it's just like when you give your little brother a controller
Yeah,
so
for
that for the Nintendo, so he thinks he's playing. Yeah, no,
I'm
it's-
podcasting.
What have you guys been watching or reading? I checked out some. I checked out a fun movie, but I'm not recalling it right now. No, I watched season 2 of The Old Man on FX. Have you guys seen this show? Spy thriller. I think it's they try to just make it look like it's like Liam Neeson's Taken or whatever, but it's honestly just like an old school gritty like spy drama, like very dramatic. Like there's like secret identities revealed and relationship. It's fun. The Old Man on FX. I'm gonna give it a fucking 8 out of 10. There's action in it, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just like a spy thriller.
Sneaky vibes. I love that stuff.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm posing as this, and I have some shell corporations, and it's good. I don't want to. It's kind of one of those things. Like if I give anything away, it'll kind of fuck up the show. So I can't really even talk about it that much.
See, I'll abstain from what I'm watching lately or reading because it's always something esoteric anyway. So
Don't know. I want to hear about it. I want to hear some weird esoteric shit.
Way to sell it, man.
Yeah, that's what show is for. Maybe somebody will hear about some weird shit that you like. I mean, Stick came in here and I think he talked about the Greasy Strangler, and nobody wants to watch that movie.
You've seen it.
I've seen it, and I'm not going to recommend it.
Sounds good.
I would recommend it. There's Hundreds of Beavers. Have you seen that?
No. What is Hundreds of Beavers?
You'd have to see it. It's an homage to like 1920s and 30s silent films, but also
when is this released?
I think this year.
It was 2024.
Yeah, I think 2023 or 2024. And then Strange Darling. Have you seen that? Strange Darling.
Okay, so let's go back to Hundreds of Beavers. Who is in this? Who's directed it?
Oh, it's guys out of, I believe, Michigan.
Okay.
That made the movie, and so it has like Michigan / Canada border feel to it. You definitely.
A lot of A's and oomps and
no matter how I try to describe it, it will not do it justice.
Oops. Do they go ope?
Then
do they go
you,
ope?
you do
Ope.
it's a comedy.
Is it okay? It is a comedy.
And then Roy Andersson films. This is a Swedish filmmaker. He locks out the camera and he takes the concept every frame of painting. Do you know who Yasuhiro Otsu is?
No.
So
This is very esoteric.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I want to hear about it.
He actually, Otsu influenced people like Wes Anderson, for instance.
Okay.
And
So it's that kitschy set design
Otsu
type thing?
Same thing. He would lock out the camera and he would make sure that everything you see on screen could also pass as a painting. So
Okay.
Roy Anderson actually is a painter, but he became a director. He takes about 8 to 10 years to make each one of his movies.
Really?
And he hand builds all of his sets.
So just every frame of the film is an art piece, basically.
Right, correct. And one of his last movies he did was called About Endlessness.
Okay.
And these movies, I think to the average American audience would be actual snooze fests. So if you have problems sleeping, I would suggest trying to check out Roy Andersson movies. His most famous one would be A Pigeon Sat on a Branch, Reflecting on Existence. So it's definitely also...
Are these feature films?
Yeah, these are feature films.
So they're like 90 minutes long?
Longer.
Okay.
Yeah, longer. And I love them, but like I said, the average person would probably find them absolutely boring. He may enjoy them because he's a painter.
He's a painter. You're on the board of a film festival, so...
I did see Megalopolis.
Oh, okay. Now that is one that I want to hear about. I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to know much about it. Good or bad? That's all I want to know about it.
Painful.
Painfully bad or painfully good?
No, if it was painfully good, I would have just said, terrible good. But painful, like Shia LaBeouf, if that's how you pronounce it.
Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf. He was the best thing about that movie.
Okay. I didn't even know he was in it.
So that's all you need to know.
That's what that's what I said. Cause especially with these old directors that have basically a green light on everything. That's what I always think it's going to be either the best thing that's ever happened in cinema or the worst. That's what I think. It could be both. And so you're saying it's that bad, huh?
Well, so speaking to that, Akira Kurosawa did a movie called Dreams.
Okay.
That was funded by Steven Spielberg, and I think also Coppola helped fund this movie.
Okay. I've only ever seen the one movie.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah, Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
I've seen the one that everybody's seen.
Yeah, and it's so funny because that's such a small part of his output.
Right.
Are the samurai movies. But so Dreams is this non-narrative pastiche of just these vignettes, and it's the same thing. What?
And so
I enjoyed it, but what the hell is it? Who is this for? but for himself. And same thing with Megalopolis. He made a movie
For himself.
for himself. He is
Okay.
the only audience member. For this movie.
I think it's finally coming out on video, so I'm gonna. I don't really go to the theater much to watch anything. I'm not one of those guys that thinks the theater is gonna make the experience better for me but that's because I have a very good sound system in my home.
Right.
The screen is big. It's got surround sound. I can hear all the little details and the sound mixing and mastering and stuff. So
Wait, when you go to watch it, so Megalopolis, the only way you could probably enjoy that is if you have a room full of comedians.
okay.
Like,
And you guys
so
are
if-
all ripping it a new
so,
one.
So if you guys are if you're gonna watch it, invite some people over. I'll come over.
Okay.
I'll watch it. with you guys.
I'll screen it in my living room and I'll invite you over
So,
for sure.
but it can also act as like if you wanted to abuse somebody, play Megalopolis for them.
Okay, I mean, I like to
I like
make my
to
wife
abuse
mad.
people.
Yeah, I like to upset my wife by making her watch movies. I made her watch The Warriors one time, and she was just like, "I'm fucking leaving you," and she just got in the car and she left, and she came
This is
back.
the classic The
thankfully,
Warriors, right?
yeah, the classic
Oh, okay.
The Warriors. Yeah, I put it on for her, and she was like, "Fuck off," and she just left the room. Let's see.
I've been watching. I haven't been watching, but the last thing I think I watched all the way through is this incredible show called Scavenger's Reign. Have you guys ever seen it?
It looked interesting. Is that the animated one?
It's the animated one. and
I
it's
wanna see this.
It's a masterpiece. It is.
It's that good, huh?
It's so good, but like. It's like it takes you into like this weird world, and it's just so fucking good. And just as somebody who can appreciate, frame by frame animation, it's amazing. It was
hand
my.
drawn still, then, right?
I mean, I'm sure
Mostly.
they did it digitally or whatever, but it's
Or,
frame by frame. Yeah,
they
it's
do.
hand-drawn.
They do some of that stuff is like maybe the action sequences will be like digital, but like the close ups will be hand drawn, stuff like that.
Whatever they did, they should just keep doing it because it's so good.
I think it got approved for a season 2, didn't it?
No, actually, I follow the guy, one of the creators, and he said that it's currently not approved for a season 2, but they're still working on it because
Like Mindhunter.
they expect to get the funding eventually.
Okay, so they're
and-
still writing it and putting it together.
He released like a teaser of season 2, and on the same post he said, "We're currently not renewed for a season 2."
Yanni, can I
know.
make a movie suggestion to you?
Yeah, go for it.
If I was to just name one movie you should see, it's The Taste of Tea.
Okay, I'll watch
It's a
it.
Japanese movie, The
Okay.
Taste of Tea.
So, Taste of Tea, Scavenger's Reign, The Old Man, and I'm trying to think. I know I've watched a movie, but I might have just been watching. Oh, you know what I watched with Leah? She had never seen it. We watched the 1990s classic Demolition Man.
Oh my god, that used to be
It's
one of
so
my
funny.
favorites.
It's so like actually subtly funny
yeah.
on like 'cause as a kid you're just like, oh, it's just a movie. Like you just don't really understand what they're doing. But like as a comedian watching it now, I'm like, oh, there's so many just little jokes in it.
That was the movie.
Yeah.
As an adult, that is the movie.
Yeah, the whole movie. It's just like everything is Taco Bell.
Question.
Like
I have a question. Did he have like back in like before he went into cryogenic sleep? Did he have a daughter? Was that part of his character? Because
I think no. I thought it was, but I think it's a different movie that you're
thought-
putting back with it.
Because-
he said he had, because I always thought that he had a daughter, and then that was kind of like a big plot point.
Because-
rewatching it, he says, "I was awake the whole time, and my wife was banging on the ice."
well,
And he never mentions a daughter, so I think that's a Mandela
so
effect.
you sure? Okay, because in my mind when I was watching it, I kept waiting for that moment.
I did too.
Where he's like, "Oh no, Sandra Bullock is my daughter, and I shouldn't fuck this girl or whatever," and then they never revealed it. So I
That's the
thought it-
old man, and then they fuck at the end. Yeah, they're like, "How about we exchange some fluids?"
Yeah,
At the end, yeah. I had it in my mind that the twist was going to be Sandra Bullock was his daughter.
that's what you know what I
But
mean.
that's
Maybe
what are they?
it's a Mandela effect. Yeah,
That's the Mandela effect. Maybe we're conflating that with Old Boy.
Old Boy.
Because
well,
Old Boy he's imprisoned in a room for all
Yeah.
those
Well,
years,
go
and then
to-
he
wait.
fucks his daughter.
that was an
Spoiler
incredible
alert.
movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he does fuck his daughter. So maybe we're conflating that as a Mandela, and that's making the Mandela
Gross.
effect.
Yeah.
Mandela effect.
I loved Old Boy.
I loved
but
Old
it's
Boy.
but it's a movie that
It's
you
disgusting.
can't enjoy.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
exactly.
You know everything. You're like, oh,
it,
that's-
lea-
that's- I
it
can't-
leaves you
can't-
so
yeah.
unhappy at the
Yeah.
end. But it's
Yeah,
like
it's terrible.
done so well. The best scene in the movie of Old Boy is like when he's walking through that hallway and he's got that hammer.
Oh, the
and
hammer
he's, like,
scene, yeah.
You can see like doo, 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 like
Yeah.
he's about to hit the fucking guy. Boom, and then he just fights all those people.
Yeah,
I
it's-
thought that was the best scene in the movie.
I love Korean movies for that because like they'll be just insanely dramatic, but then like we're gonna have a giant fight scene.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I like Bollywood movies.
Yeah, well they'll have a
It's
40 guy
great.
fight scene and then dance about it.
yeah.
Those are great. Even like sad dramas. And then all of
Gotta
sudden
have a
it's
fight,
still-
and then you
No,
gotta- and then
I
a
mean, the
dance.
Bollywood movies.
Yeah.
This is a
Oh,
big,
yeah.
big dance sequence.
So anyway, Demolition Man, Sandra Bullock is not his daughter.
Did you just Google it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't Google it. I just watched it. They definitely fuck at the end, and it's not his daughter.
I feel like you guys are almost.
You know what? That's a
disappointed by
relief.
this.
I am. No,
That's a big relief for me. I think I was kind of like a bit upset about it my whole life, unconsciously.
Well, now he's not going to do art anymore. He
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
need a release.
He does-
all my
That's it.
traumas are healed. There's nothing to express.
Well, I really appreciate you guys being here. We definitely have to go wrap the episode up. A lot of interesting subjects. Make sure you guys follow on Instagram. Lewis is he's working on some projects, so please come back in and talk about them when you're ready to actually talk about them. Yali always has stuff going on. Check out many of his public murals and follow at Yali Alan on Instagram, and you can check out all that stuff.
Can I throw a shout out to Eric Harlow?
Yeah, let's
Eric-
make
shout
sure
out
we
Eric
shout out
Harlow.
Eric Harlow.
Eric Harlow.
He's our dad, and I gotta get him on the show soon. I haven't
Yeah.
I haven't had him on the podcast in over a decade.
Oh,
He's got
when you
a
get
band
him on
with a
the
bunch
show,
of original
We need
songs.
to get him in the hot seat.
Okay.
And we just all get to ask questions about his past.
Yeah, he's like,
Like,
he's like a tall tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a folklore hero.
People will come up to me, and I've known Eric probably over 20, almost
Over
20,
20 years? Yeah,
And,
about 20 years.
People are like, "What does he do?" I don't know. Where is he from?
Nobody
he lives
knows.
off
I
the
don't
fat
know.
of the land.
Yeah,
he
I
is
don't-
the.
I have no idea what he does.
Don't know, but yeah, he's Johnny Appleseed. He's
Yeah,
Paul Bunyan.
yeah,
He's all of those things. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe on our Facebook, our Instagram at Something Planet Podcast, and yeah, that's all that stuff helps us out. I think we got to our follower goal, so I'm gonna have to set a new follower goal. But please. Subscribe to YouTube and follow us everywhere. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. And let's have a great night.